than Survivor games. Thank God for that.
Yeah, yeah. Only for like one hour though.
Make sure head bob is turned off.
Mm-hmm.
I think head bob's under game.
Oh, I'm a noob at this. I'm sorry.
Just, your machine runs everything at max.
Yeah, right. No. I turn a lot of things down, man.
Rotational blur's a bit crazy too.
Yeah, I turn that down.
No, we're not gonna be running new UI. This sound is apparently still up. I'm gonna try and suck on my microphone.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, baby. All right.
All right, so we're here for apparently quieter than ever. I'm louder than ever. For the love of
good.
People. All right. I'm just gonna have to. I have to be louder. Jesus Christ.
Loud.
All right. So we're here for day what? This is day 2, right?
Yes, day 2. It feels like day 3 already.
It does feel like day 3. I mean, we did get here a little bit earlier. I don't know about you.
Yep.
I landed on Wednesday night.
I got here Wednesday too. Yeah.
Pretty much spent Thursday just alone with the girlfriend, and then Friday here, and then recuperated.
Got the.
I think I'm feeling a lot.
The daytime in there, you know.
I'm feeling a lot better now. Yesterday, who did I have? We had Austin up here.
Yeah, Smack was playing a bit.
And I was really worried that for like the first 10 to 20 minutes, I was, you're just gonna drag ass.
How long did you guys play?
We were up here for an hour, so
for an hour, yeah.
Nowhere near like the hour with you, and then the 3 hours of Jamser I have later today. That's gonna be a bit.
3 hours, wow.
Yeah, we'll see if Jam can keep up.
I said we just bust out like a 24-hour. Let's do it. No?
Yeah.
Yeah. 24 hour. Okay.
24 hours. We're just gonna do it. PAX is okay.
We're just gonna wing it all night.
Going.
Well, crowds here all night.
Put a curtain over. The janitors won't know we're here.
Why not?
All right. So just before we get too far into this, while you're finding yourself some gear, no, you.
I do my thing. Okay. All right.
The official forms. The official forms should be up relatively soon. There's down to address a minor security issue, and since the security issue came up and we were down, we figured why not install some of these plugins, security updates, clean up some old dead users. We've got over 200,000 users dating back to the time of DayZ mods. So we figure we got probably our fair share of inactive accounts and spam accounts and such. It was a good opportunity since we're dealing with PAX South and such to clean it up. So they should be back online within the next day or so. No, this is not the new render. You're not going to see any new stuff. He's playing the current stable branch 5.9. While I guess I'll take the time with Anthony to go over most of the stuff that hey, look, we got a crazy.
Oh, baby, what are you doing? You gonna play with us?
We got Twitch.
Yeah, we get a whole like clan going on.
XMAK. Did you forget something up here?
No.
Look what somebody gave me. Right?
Tactical bacon.
Right? I don't know if they see that in camera. That's tactical bacon, baby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat it later. I mean, I get on my sodium, but it's okay.
Yeah. There's plenty of people on here, so I fully expect you, even though that's not the specific only way to play DayZ. I expect Anthony to kill someone.
Me to kill someone?
Yes.
Wait, but you're not playing?
Oh no, I'm right here. This is only an hour. This is only an hour.
I thought you were gonna play. I was like,
no,
I'm gonna knock Brian out with a cooking pot.
Oh no, that's not happening.
No, that was all part of my plan, man.
That's not happening. I already let some young gentlemen take 2 pictures with me yesterday. You were there for that, right? The guy that wanted to take 1 picture with me, like a hug, right? They wanted to take another picture with me, flipping me off.
Oh yeah, he did that to me too.
Oh, he did it to you too?
Yeah.
Why
I started crying afterwards. That was sad.
What did you do to him?
I don't know. He says I killed him or something in DayZ when he was playing with friends.
That's very, very possible.
I was like, I'm sorry, man. Don't take it personal. I do it a lot. You know? But he was nice. He was a nice guy.
Someone wants me to actually put my mic inside my mouth like this.
Oh my God.
Was that loud?
That was good. I can hear you a lot better.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Repa, this is not some Asian guy. Although, I mean, he is Asian. This is clear.
Clearly, I'm not Asian. I'm Spanish descent.
I believe that was a bit racist.
That was racist. We're skating.
This is my good friend Anthony Kongphan. That's twitch.tv/Anthony Kongphan. Just like it sounds. Just like it sounds. None of that X-Smack stuff with no C.
Right.
The smack. Like who? Every time he says it, he's like, tell people about your stream, and he's like, oh, it's twitch.tv/Xmack. And I'm like, how many people went XSMACK and and went, screw it, this guy's lying. He's not as I imagine a lot. I imagine a lot.
Yeah, I made it easy for people, you know. I was like thinking about my game name and all that. I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna be my real name, whatever.
I want something similar myself.
Yeah.
Obviously. You know, originally, the whole Hicks 206 thing is the music. Backstory of this. Before we get into DayZ stuff, I figured why not start with something a little lighter. The whole Hicks 206 thing was because originally my first Twitter handle was Hicks_PAX.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody I knew that used Twitter was related to volunteering here at, well, not at PAX South,
at
wasn't around
PAX.
at the time. At PAX, I think this is before there was any other shows like Hicks, or Hicks,
Yeah.
PAX East or anything. It was just PAX, right?
The Brian Hicks show, yes.
Yeah. And it was a little bit after I started expanding past. I was streaming DayZ mod on Twitch with Soma and Blue.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. We were all streaming together, and the Twitter handle just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, all right, I'll change it, and I added up 206 because it rhymed with Hicks, despite the fact that I lived in the east side of Seattle, which is 425.
Okay, that makes all sense now. I never asked you about that. I was
You never
like,
knew 206 was the Seattle area code?
oh, I didn't.
That's
Just moved there.
That's the whole idea. Yeah. Well,
All
you know
right.
now. You know now.
Yeah.
I completely forgot you were a transplant.
I just moved there, man. I'm a newbie there.
All right. So speaking of Blue, we're guys trying to figure out how to get in the show.
I just saw Blue earlier today.
Word to the wise: if you ever buy an iPhone 6, don't drop it.
Oh,
Don't drop it. All right. So while we wait for Fort Lewis to figure out how to get into PAX, so you made your way to Belota, I see.
Yes, we got the one of the rarest spawns in Belota here. Quite lucky. Yeah.
So you're still really loud compared to him.
I am.
I listen. The next option is me screaming.
No.
I would need you to start screaming, Brian.
You're gonna move his mic further.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna quiet me down.
Oh, he's peeking. Oh, okay.
Oh. Saying I talk too loud?
We got you at 100%.
Hey, I can talk quieter. I can talk really quiet. Okay.
I guess we are
You hear
playing.
me now, Brian?
I can hear you now. It's
Okay.
loud and clear. Loud and clear. We are playing on Russia 11. That is correct. That is
Yes!
Russia 11. I've always played on Russia 11. It is my favorite DayZ server.
Tell them all about it, Brian.
So while you're running around getting looted up in Belota, I'm curious. As far as your playstyle, which tends to be very confrontational, right? Very fast-paced confrontational.
Why would you say that? What?
Unless you have yourself a long range.
I am a
weapon,
very friendly person,
and then
Brian.
you're very friendly at short ranges. And
People
not
just
so friendly at
take me
distance.
the wrong way, you know? Yeah.
That said, as far as your route, I'm very curious. What is your route from fresh spawn to where you want to be at like the peak of your character? What is
Oh,
your
gotcha.
route?
It depends. Because it depends on like how chunky the server is, how many people are in it.
Yeah.
If I go to like, say for example, 40, 50 man server, I'll just go straight to like Cherno, Electro, get a cooking pot or fire extinguisher and
Cooking
just,
pot's big for you.
you know,
nowadays?
yeah. One shot to the head, they're done, son. You know, just knock them out.
That old
You know, one of those little newbie snipers and Electro up on the hill, easy. Easy.
What's your go-to entry level firearm then? What do you look for?
I mean, really anything.
Yeah?
Like I've actually used like
I
my
know
longest
back in
kill
the day-
streak was like with a sporter in Cherno one time.
Really?
Like 11, 12 kill streak.
Chambered or magazine?
Magazine, with scope though, hunting scope. But the thing is, like, it's so quiet, no one could,
Oh, it's very
you know,
quiet, it's
yeah,
very
they didn't know where it was coming from.
I remember back in the day you were big on the Enfield.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many
Oh.
times I'd be going through channels and I'd
Yeah.
see Tony with his sleeveless shirt on Electro Hill, there, Sniper Hill, just with an Enfield, watching people. Oh, there's someone on the school. Bang!
Mhm.
He's dead now.
My favorite. I miss that. You should implement the Lee Enfield in this.
You don't think the Mosin is a good counterpart?
I do like the Mosin. I have no problem with the Mosin.
I
I
mean,
miss
they
the,
both are kind of a dinner bell. If you remember, the Enfield was the dinner bell. You ring the dinner bell in Cherno or Electro, and
Yeah,
everything comes running.
exactly. They would hear that sound.
There was also a good long period in which the the Enfield was a one-hit kill
Mhm.
because it did 12k, and that was your blood in the mod was 12k. So you hit somebody with the Enfield, you get him in the toe.
Oh yeah. Either they die or they get knocked out. That was a powerful gun.
Yeah, very powerful. It was nerfed after a little.
Yeah.
So you see that
Have fun on that though.
originally when we went live with DayZ on Steam in early access. Balota was a bit, let's say, over-militarized compared to the Balota that it is now.
Oh,
with the Balota
yeah.
in the mod.
That's because they had like multiple barracks there
Exactly,
and you could get guns.
exactly. And this is what happens when you let the environment team put things in that are pretty and they don't think about the game. Like that was very, very clear within, I'd say, the first week.
Yeah.
We made a bad call because all people wanted to do was spawn in Balota,
Yep.
get their M4, kill someone else in Balota, and respawn in Balota. That was it. Nobody wanted any other
Pretty
spawn.
much. Yeah, everything
That's
else
why-
was dead, yeah.
That was one of the reasons why we did that rapid map change, remove barracks, and change them into like destroyed barracks, and why I decided that we would try and move the player spawn to the east coast and move from west as the player.
And it did balance it out a lot. Like the last few weeks I've been playing up north and I've enjoyed it a lot.
No, we've compromised a little bit. We reintroduced some of those southeastern spawns all the way up into, I think the closest you can get is just outside of Balota. We don't want to go all the way over to Komarovo and Kameka because of the close proximity to Pavlovo military base, Prison Island.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't realize it, but there's actually a lot of I guess snowball game design implications where the players just start.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have asked, why don't you go ahead and put out players being able to pick their own spawns? And then at that point, yeah, I think it takes away from part of what DayZ is, which is that whole random, I don't know where I am, I have to figure out what I'm getting.
Yeah, it does ruin like the like for me, like I love like getting straight into action. I remember like I played a lot of Overwatch was like the mod of like DayZ where you could pick your spawns.
Yeah.
But again, like it does ruin kind of the immersion of just that surprise of where you're gonna spawn at and things like that. Because
I'm not too concerned about not doing it for DayZ because when it comes down to it, one of the easiest things to mod is going to be player spawn places and whether or not you allow your players. I mean, with N4 script, people are going to be able to do so much more to DayZ than they could with SQF that it's going to happen. And
Yeah.
It's gonna. So I'm not too concerned about trying to sacrifice a certain area of what the design of DayZ is to make a small portion of the community happy they can pick their spawns. That's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
confident it's going to come in a mod.
So you are gonna implement that? People.
I'm not.
Oh.
The mod's going to.
Oh, okay,
I'm
gotcha.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we stick to what we know is, I guess, the key.
Yeah,
hard
that's
and
cool.
that I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. Kind of.
Mhm.
I need to travel across the map to find my friend. As frustrating as it can be when you play a lot.
Yeah,
of DayZ,
that helps like new players kind of learn the map
Yes,
too.
yes.
Instead of just like spawning in one place and they're like, oh, okay, I already know this place, and then on the
We've
East
actually
Coast they don't know
thought
where they're at.
about how we could, lack of a better, I don't want to say penalize people that that do that whole jump off a silo, drown yourself. you know, we've all done
Who
it.
does that?
I told Austin to do that yesterday.
Yeah.
He logged in and he had a purely naked character, and I'm like, well, we don't even know where we are. You're naked. Just kill yourself. But yeah,
Jump off.
we were looking at methods to not necessarily penalize it, but to try and incentivize taking that first spawn and de-incentivize progressive respawn. That was the big thing, was making sure that we didn't penalize people. We didn't want to make it feel like we were punishing them.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it feel like the quickest, easiest way to get in game and enjoy it is to take that first spawn you get, maybe that second spawn in case of shoot.
Which especially like if you're not playing like with friends or whatnot solo, like you can spawn anywhere and make adventure off that.
So as you're moving across the apartments north of Chernogorsk, I thought it was a good opportunity to bring up an issue that was put into the feedback tracker by a content creator goes by the name Sacro. I'm sure we all know Sacro.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching me, you probably know who Sacro is.
Ras.
And Sacro put in a ticket with the help of his community about some issues with items repeating in some buildings, not being populated properly, and it allowed us, with the data they put in there, to go in, look at that bug, take the actual storage files and logs from the servers reported, bring them to the programmers responsible for the central economy, and sit down and try and figure out what the issue was.
Yeah.
And I guess identify what was causing it. And one of the first things we noticed out the gate is we were seeing that we weren't actually getting the proper economic distribution, like the numbers weren't where they should be.
Yeah.
So we set what we consider to be the median volume of items.
Okay.
We set that in the economy. When the server restarts, you get a volume list of everything that spawns, and we saw that we were several thousand items off. And it didn't quite make much sense, because when it comes to, like, one of the biggest issues we have to deal with Chernarus Plus over the original Chernarus is that nearly every structure is iterable, and every structure has extensive memory points for loot to spawn, so on and so forth. They have their building maximums to ensure that one building doesn't get too much loot, so it should be distributed. And we have well over 2 million, I think, coming on 3 million potential points for items to spawn.
Okay. I think it's more of like the balancing of, like, you know, like, for example, weapons and their ammo. I know, like, right now the Winchester ammo is like extremely rare, but when you find it, you know, you get like 40 bullets. Damn, you're good for a long time.
Well, a lot of the issue there is that some items, because of a bug with item categorization, we're not getting the proper amounts of them to spawn.
My man! You gonna play with me? Be in the camera? Can I get a hug? I'm feeling this. Hug it out. Thank you. I needed that. Sorry.
You're the worst.
I'm
supposed to kill zombies. You're playing DayZ. You're supposed to kill zombies, and you're loving them.
Is he a zombie?
I think so. I think that's Plants vs. Zombies.
Oh. Punch him out with this. Hey, get back!
Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So with DayZ mod, you know, you think that you know, the distribution balance might be a little bit better with DayZ mod. The interesting thing about DayZ mod and on the original Chernarus is that there was massively less amounts of items or potential spots for items to spawn. It was somewhere around 10k last time I talked to Razor.
Oh, yeah.
10k versus upwards of plus million. There's going to be some distribution, complex math there.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, we discovered an issue with categorization, item categorization, that allowed us to identify where the problem was in the economy. And over the past week and a half to 2 weeks, both the QA and game design, as well as gameplay programming team, are working on addressing that. And the last I heard, of the last report I got from this, is that we were seeing the exact quantity that we wanted spawning, instead of several thousand items.
All right.
To allow us to get in there and properly distribute things.
Nice.
Look at implementing restock times on buildings.
Excited to try it out.
Yeah, me too. We should see that. With 0.6 Pro.
But again, like you know, lately, like I remember a while ago that you had a problem with like actual items just spawning in.
Yes.
And lately, it's been fun. Like you'll go into like full pop servers, and I'll be running around. And I'll be finding items here and there. And
yeah, that
problem at all.
original issue was a problem with respawning itself.
Yeah.
That it wasn't occurring when it should.
Okay.
That's an interesting point. The whole items not respawning themselves, and you're running around the coast and not finding gear, and you have to go inland.
Yeah.
From purely an immersion, realistic standpoint, that makes perfect sense, right? You got people coming in constantly, taking items. The coast should be picked clean.
Yeah.
Right? That's a constant influx of people. That makes, like, on a real world level, that makes perfect sense. Just like, you know, in Walking Dead or something, we've already cleared this town out there.
Yeah, so just highly populated area, people took some stuff, then yeah, you gotta move somewhere else.
But from a game design standpoint, that just doesn't work, you know? Because, I mean, we can't say to the player that joined 5 minutes ago that he has less right to the basic starting gear than, say, a player that joined 5 hours ago.
Yeah.
So that's why that issue was addressed, and I stopped telling him just get off the coast.
Yeah. Get off the coast, go inland.
I think it was kind of in my face when I think I hopped on to play with Blackout, I think it was.
Just to be, yeah.
I starved twice on the coast.
Did you?
Yeah.
What?
I was like, all right, guys, this might be a little too difficult. Might be a little too difficult.
Start picking apples, berries.
Electric Grapevine, you're not going to see 3 days of constant nonstop new shit. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Especially considering today I'm up here for 4 hours, so you're gonna hear a lot of repeats. All right, so I guess recapping on some of the stuff we talked about yesterday. Obviously, people have been talking about the new renderer.
Okay, yeah.
That's been a point.
Oh,
of
I'm very
conversation.
excited. Yeah.
As far as the new renderer goes, and I want to make this very clear, any numbers you might have heard coming out of the dev team, expected frame rates, current frame rates that we're getting in test, there is no guarantee that that's what we're going to see. This is why it has to go into testing. This is why we're in development. Figure out, the happy spot, address the major issues with all the market-leading hardware. We are seeing 100 plus FPS on one of the rigs and configurations we're running.
Yeah.
That's just one area of the map. Granted, it's a dense scene. That's one area of the map with one hardware configuration and one specific settings config.
Gotcha.
I cannot promise that for everyone, everywhere.
What is the this computer running in it?
This one right here?
The one that you tested out, you said it has like 100 plus FPS.
Yeah, the one that I believe that machine came from was kind of a middle of the road. Should be running a 970.
Okay.
Yeah, 970 and probably a 3770K.
Alright,
16 gig
alright, well, I'm so
It's
excited about that.
Up there. It's not a 4790, it's not a 980. It's a nice PC, but again, that's just.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
A lot of things can show up when we push it out to like I said yesterday. We've got hundreds of thousands of unique hardware configurations going through DayZ each month of people playing. So there could be a lot of issues showing up, a lot of stuff that and that's the big thing about why the feedback tracker's out there. There are only, let's say, 70 to 80 of us, including QA on DayZ development. There are millions of you guys out there. You're going to find stuff that we haven't found yet faster. You're going to find it faster, report it to us, and that's why I'm saying be very careful. I don't know if careful is the right word.
No.
Manage your expectations when it comes to the first iteration of the render. It's going to take iterative updates.
And again, like when you were testing out that FPS, where exactly were you guys at?
I believe that scene, I was just told it was dense, so it's going to be Novid or Chernogorsk.
Oh, okay.
Petrovsk or Chernogorsk.
Was it Cherno?
Or Novid.
Oh,
Novid too. They're both
Yeah,
very,
Nova's great. That's
very
impressive.
dense, large cities.
My computer runs like 15, 20 in Nova.
Yes,
Dr.
Dr.
Next.
You can get whatever you want in the Czech Republic. Have you been there? Have you been there? Alza.cz. You can thank me for that promotion, Alza, later on. And no, I didn't mean 770. I meant 970. No, the numbers I pulled from weren't Severograd. Anyways,
And wasn't
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Septic. That's what I'm telling you. It's a 970.
when you run those tests too, were like everything pretty much on high, like objects on very high too.
It should have been middle of the road. So some of them would have been high, some of them would have been medium.
Okay. Still, that's really impressive, especially in like Novo at 100 FPS. That's.
We'll see.
That makes me happy.
We shall see. It's going to take a lot of testing. It's going to take a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be texture issues and rendering problems. We'll find these things as we iterate. This will be the first time it'll be in consumers' hands. I'm not taking my sweet time, Dr. Brooks. Don't be a dick. All right. So, in addition to the new renderer, we're looking at the new UI. We're looking at the new UI for 0.60, one of the first iterations of skinning the inventory in the new UI. And I hear a lot of people, even you yourself, asking me, I can't do X or Y with this new UI. And I'm like, Anthony, it's being developed. So you got to be patient. Well,
I don't want to be patient. No, I'm just kidding.
the skinning of it, and the next update 2.60 should address a lot of the major issues. I was talking to Smack the other day about how some people that deal with PvP a lot were going, man, I can't drag items off into the vicinity. That's one of the issues that was taken when you kill someone.
I found out it was more of like a waiting issue. Like I'll eventually could drag the items off, but I had to wait, about 3-4 seconds, depending on
That could be server performance right there. Not specifically is the first thing I would blame on that one.
I'm sure you guys will find out what it is.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a huge list of bugs that were addressed within the last month dealing with the new UI. Peter and I have gone over functionally what we want to see from the inventory portion of the new UI, the main menu portion of the UI, loading screens, server browser. We've been going over a lot of mock-ups so that the game design team can sit down and scale properly. Everything from functional stuff in-game with the inventory to making sure that the first thing people see when they get in-game and they hit play or change server, the button we end up settling on. When you hit that server browser, the first thing you see is only a list of official servers. Servers that are DayZ vanilla, you know, they're run by Bohemia.
Yeah.
They're across the same shard, the same hive. We've got our not our hardcore, it's not been hardcore for a while. We got our first person and our third person servers, but it's all official run stuff. So you know that nobody's going to be kicking you off that server. You know, nobody's going to be resetting the storage unless, you know, you get a message from Bohemia on that. So it is guaranteeing that the first experience people get in are official.
Gotcha. Those will be the first servers that'll pop up when they update.
Yeah, so imagine you get like a tab up here that says official and a tab up here that says community,
Yeah.
and a tab up here that says mods.
Okay.
That's the whole idea. And then once you go over to the community tab, that's when you're going to see all the servers that are run by the DayZ community and not by Bohemia Interactive. So you'll see, you know, Anthony's Chicken Shack, or, you know, 10,000.
Yeah, baby.
10,000 chicken spawns. You know, nothing but bow combat. You know.
Right.
There you go. You know, you'll see
this
that.
totally.
That'll probably be somewhere near the top too, because, you know, A. You know, so alphabetically, you've got a prime spot. It's like when you're setting up a small business back when the phone book was a thing. You know, you pick a name that's somewhere near the top of your letter. You know, and A, man, I mean, you're near the front of the phone book.
Yeah.
There you go. For things like the main menu, we wanted to look at centralizing both development information, right? So like what's going on, latest status report, service information, whether or not the hive is up or down, upcoming patches, that kind of stuff. So
that'll appear like in the main menu.
Yeah,
like,
that'll have its own.
You can see that.
Let's say cell.
Yeah, that would be really nice. Yeah, that way, right off the bat, they can see like what updates and things like that are gonna happen.
Exactly, as well as some quick button links, hot links to the critical sources of information for development. So like the feedback tracker, the dev hub, the official Twitter account. It's all right there if you want to click on it or search it yourself. You don't have to find it. The idea being putting as much information that is easily digested or accessible in regards to DayZ's development and what's going on with DayZ in one portion of the main menu. And then the other portion focusing on your character and your story. And by your story, I mean your statistics.
Yeah.
Right? That was a big thing for DayZ Mod, was talking about, like if you look at the DayZ Mod website, I think it's still up at, I think it's just DayZmod.com. You go there and it goes, you know, average lifetime survived. You know,
yeah, I remember that. They had like the stats and all that.
Yeah. And putting that kind of information up there on you yourself versus the, you know, we've got some global and then you got your own statistics.
That would be really cool. So you implement kind of like stats, statistics on you know, how long you've lived and how many people you've killed.
It'd be interesting to see if we want to do both player statistics and character statistics, or just character statistics as characters die, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's some interesting data there on like player statistics. Not too much, but a little bit there on like how you yourself play, your proficiency in the game, versus statistics on the character you're looking at that moment.
Okay, so it'd be like two different ones.
Yeah. Break the statistics up. And of course, you know, within that development status
we got
bar
shots.
over there, you hear that?
We got shots, baby.
Within that development status information will be like an easy heartbeat ticker, so you know whether or not DayZ is up or DayZ is down.
Yeah. And going back on like kind of like the interface, I know I had a lot of people ask me too, like the icons are very, very small. Is there any chance of changing that up, like for the new UI that I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Not this one, but the one that's all black. You know, the icons are very small.
Yeah. Again, all that at the point that you have it right now hasn't had any skinning or design work done, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just the technical stuff. So the icons, the layout, the functionality, for the most part, is going to change.
All right.
Purely imagine it. I guess look at it from perspective of a car that you want to restore, except for there's no interior in right now. So of course, like you get in the inside of the car, and even though there's an engine and it can move, there ain't no seats, there's no steering wheel, no instrument.
Yeah, none of the flashy stuff yet.
That's all being put in, and I think it's critical that once we start pushing that out there, that it's iterative, that we allow people to give us feedback through the feedback tracker and let us know what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, so people have that option to have their voice be heard on how the UI is laid out, either
cool.
for how they play with it, how they don't play with it, or using the feedback tracker.
Oh, especially like the way it looks. I like the way that it looks, the new UI. But again, yeah, like the interaction. I'm sure later on to implement, you know, trying to smooth that out more, especially like during combat situations.
I think one of the greatest things personally about the new UI right now
Mm-hmm.
is the performance gain using the new UI.
Oh yeah.
Use the UI. Yeah.
It's like 15-20% performance gain. It's nice.
And thinking that we want hopefully, you know, cross your fingers by 0.60 to have pushed in the new render and the new UI as both like completely replacing their legacy counterparts. So
Okay.
that performance gain is not going to be opt-in anymore. It's everybody's going to have both the performance gain from the UI and the performance gain from the renderer.
All right, so it's like a double performance gain.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. It's like
What I'm talking about.
supersized. Is that right? You go to McDonald's. I don't go to McDonald's.
Yeah, I go to McDonald's. I get chicken nuggets all the time.
Do they
you know?
still do the supersized stuff?
Well, you get a large, pretty much supersized.
Oh, so they got rid of that phrase?
Yeah.
Was that because of the movie thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad, because of the movie.
Well, you can order a large, but it's still a supersize. Well, we'll just call it a large.
Well, it doesn't have the same ring, you know. Large me.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Supersize.
Yeah,
And that was
you
a
get it.
really, in hindsight, that was a really bad marketing choice.
Right?
Because they told people to ask, you know, supersize me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm getting off the beaten path.
That's all good. You're making me hungry now, man.
Yeah, I'm
Some
kinda hungry.
chicken nuggets.
I had a light breakfast. Okay, so as far as someone was asking earlier about optics on the FN FAL. As far as I know, yes, that is the intent. We do have some attachments coming for the FAL, as well as additional weapons for those that follow the feedback tracker. You know, we have the PKM coming up. We have the M249 squad automatic weapon coming up. You know, we've talked about some future. I didn't want to go too far into it and reveal things too much, but we do have at least a couple more long-range weapons coming up. So we've got a good amount of as far as content for those that like the new shiny guns. We got a good amount of those coming coming soon.
Can't wait.
As far as barter mechanics, I see what 7 in chat was asking about barter mechanics. I'm going to assume you mean like a secure trading system. And as far as, I mean, for my money, the whole concept of a secure trading system. Hello, Khalil. How you doing? As far as a secure trading system goes, sorry, as a good friend of mine. I don't know. Like we had to kill that man.
Oh!
Kill that man.
Oh, you got my eye, baby!
Kill that man.
Going in for chunks!
Oh my God! Don't die, Anthony. Everybody is judging you.
You was just shooting at one more zombie, man! I could have snuck up on him! I'm gonna go back for him.
All right.
Okay.
Get your revenge. Get your revenge. And you know, I think that points out something that before I answer this question about the Barrett M82.
Yeah.
I think that points out something I wanted to talk about while I have you up here. And oh, geez, sorry
I
guys.
would have helped you. Like,
Little
really,
sniffly.
I'm just walking outside.
Player movement speed,
Really, guy?
right?
Oh.
Player
Yep.
movement speed from your perspective, especially as somebody that enjoys being a long distance engagement. It does seem a little fast to you, doesn't it? When a player gets a meleeed player gets close to you, or gunplay, like in close proximity, the players they just move really fast. It's very difficult with a weapon, even an automatic weapon, to cut someone down. The speed of their movement back and forth, right?
Yeah, when they do get close, like going from side by side, it can, depending on like if they're having anything in their hand, or opposed to like that having like a two-handed weapon. I mean, it's gonna be easy for him. You know, he's got a full AR.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go ham with him like with that, and it ain't gonna happen. It depends too, like on the desync also.
Well, one of the major changes coming, at least from my perspective, when it comes to gunplay, is once the new player controller and the new animation system are plugged in, and the design team can really start working at that. That's when they look at the stamina system for players, weight having an impact on the movement of players.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now the question will be, once that's in and we start to see how that impacts play, that's when balance comes in, and that's when we have to start asking the question of our players, even with weight and stamina, able to move too fast. That's when we can start dialing it down if we need to. And the beta phase for us, later on in this year, once we hit beta, is really looking at how the game is played. And in addition to continuing to flesh out content for the systems that were created during the alpha phase, balance. It's a big phase of balance.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about that balance.
And it's gonna be very critical for everybody that plays DayZ, everybody that watches DayZ, to give their feedback. Don't just gnash your teeth and sit in a corner. You have the opportunity once we hit that phase to use the feedback tracker to engage us on the official dev team Twitter and let us know what's going on for that kind of stuff.
Let them know, folks. You heard the man. Let them know.
Again, you have to understand that Peter and I really enjoy DayZ being unforgivingly brutal. So if nobody complains, we're just going to assume you guys like it really difficult. Spawn in starving already. All the apples are rotten.
Oh, I remember those days. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting hungry right off the bat.
Precise item placement. That's a good question. Citric in chat was asking about precise item placement.
Okay, like certain areas spawning certain items. Yeah.
No. Precise item placement. He means, I think it's up on the Trello. As far as almost like a preview view when you're placing a tent or any player created structure or item, you get to see, lack of a better term, a light outline, say in your mind's eye where it's going to be. So you don't have to just guess. Like when you have your tent, right, and you want to place it right now, you run around and right click place, you keep trying to, or action place, you keep trying to place it. You don't see where it's going to be placed. And then once it's placed, you're like, oh shit, well, that's at an angle I didn't want, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So, the precise object placement, like this gentleman was asking, is specifically about that mind's eye, like an outline, so that you can see where your object's going to be when you go to place it.
Okay.
And yeah, that's still being worked on. The design team is still being worked on that. No, players are not going to spawn in the middle of the North Forest. That completely destroys the linear progression of the map. Okay.
No spawns at Northwest, Brian. What?
All right. Let's look at some of these questions. Blowing up gas stations will be a thing again at 1.0. It's not really super critical right now.
Those days were fun.
I did not say a firm ETA on server files or private servers. Honestly, I don't say a firm ETA on most things. I'll let you guys know what our goals are. And our goal for releasing these server files is still the beta milestone. Once we hit that point, I'd like to see both the server files be distributed and the Hive servlet package, so you can run your own Hive. So that people are completely independent to run their game servers wherever they want, with whoever they want, on whatever hardware they want. Which is pretty important.
Good deal.
The buses are so slow because we're still developing the vehicle simulation. And they will continue to go up and down in how they function and what their bugs are until 1.0. Because the programmers need to have time to get things where they need to be.
It's not too slow. I remember I was at the airfield, busting 45 miles an hour, playing speed.
Soft skills.
You just gotta,
Soft skills and character lifespan. That's another good thing I haven't touched on recently. Soft skills are actually actively being worked on by the game design team right now. Character lifespan, we've got a prototype function. A lot of these things are going to be held up by the player controller and the animation system. There's a lot of things currently pending, waiting for that when we can start pushing more stuff on that new player controller. Things like, for example, we were talking about the new UI earlier. When you're running new UI, you see that that list on the bottom. You got your health and your food and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Your character stamina. As much as that is an opt-out system, much like the quick bar. So if you don't want to see it, you'll be able to hit a key to make it go away. But the actual operation of that is waiting on the new player controller, which is being actively worked on by several programmers right now. Well, she's an entire team.
Nice.
So that's as soon as, and then honestly, that's like the big holdup for us, the new player controller. When that hits, we've got those poor game designers are going to have a mountain of work waiting on them. So we're going to have to give them some help. Someone sent me a feedback form, a couple of concepts. System of bear arms, second concept of lat belts. You know, you're gonna have to send via the feedback form. Go ahead and send me if you have a Twitter account. Send me a tweet with a link to that feedback issue. If you don't have a Twitter account, just go to my Twitter page and there's a personal contact email address there. Click on that email address, send me an email with a link to the ticket, and I'll take a look at it. Currently, the infected spawn quantity from 5.8, it was, I believe, what, times 480 more infected. So there's 50 players. There's around 500 infected right now. It's nowhere near what we want it to be, but it is exponentially more than it was in 5.8.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
concentrated right now in certain specific areas. Again, parts of the gameplay programming team are working on moving the infected spawning from the legacy global system to tying it into the dynamic events. So while we've got the global population of the infected everywhere that spawn everywhere, and then this is why even when we were spawning 1,100 infected, it still seemed like there wasn't as many in DayZ mod, right? That's because we spawned them globally, all over the map at once, whereas in DayZ mod it was trigger-based, and the infected were only where players were, right? So even though Chernarus is huge, and you only saw, like with DayZ mod's infected, you'd see a couple hundred infected at most. Like, I think the highest I ever saw during DayZ mod, before it started branching off, was 438 infected. And that was to, I think,
438?
players. Yeah, infected. But that, and look at our lowest, aside from 58 when we were working on stuff, our lowest was 700. So we always had more, but we distributed them all across the map rather than concentrating them where players are.
Yeah.
And that's why when we looked at moving it to the dynamic event system, and we're still doing the global population, but we tie in a dynamic event style spawning of infected where players are, so that we have still the global population of infected, so you can't just look and see no infected and know that there's no players there. You'll now be able to see infected everywhere, but when you see a higher concentration of them,
Yeah, that
you know
means
that there's a reason they're there. And you know, we were I was sitting down with Peter, we were talking about this, like, isn't this just as bad as the metagaming from looking at a city and seeing that there's no infected and knowing that there's no players? And I said, no, I don't think so, because
Yeah.
they're still everywhere. But it
yeah, there's
makes
still gonna be
logical
zombies
sense
there. Yeah,
that
but
where
then-
the zombies will be, where they're going to gravitate towards what they're looking for.
yeah, and they'll give you that hint
Wait.
of there could be a player
Yes,
there,
Exactly.
or a player was just there. You know.
Yeah, there's a cleanup time on them and a restock time on them. And that system also allows people to clear an area.
Yeah. How long would you think you would have that
The restock time? The restock timer is really just up to, I guess, myself and the gameplay program.
Yeah.
And I think it should be, it's going to take some tuning, mind you. But I think probably the first I'd like to see is maybe 15 minutes.
15? 15 would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would kind of gives that.
tweak it up and down. We'll tweak it up and down based upon how we see that come out. Sir Smoker just asked about the player controller fixing the zigzagging, which was effectively the player movement I was talking
Well, I was doing earlier to that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as the player zigzagging goes, that's exactly what I was mentioning earlier with Tony. Which is when the new player controller comes in, the new animation system's in, that's when the designers can start stacking on top of that the player stamina system, the weight of items, and we'll see exactly how much of an impact that has on player movement. And if it's still a little too gamey, people can be a little too much, I don't know, I guess Unreal Tournament maybe.
Yeah.
Then we can
That'd be
switch.
bad, yeah.
Then at that point we'll have access to the new animation system. We can go ahead and fluctuate player movement speeds. Like one of my personal gripes when it comes to just player movement speeds is if you look at the movement of the players in Chernarus, in DayZ mod, versus the movement in players' speed, like A to B, in Chernarus Plus and DayZ. And it's almost twice. Like, they're moving nearly 30 kilometers an hour right now in DayZ. And they were moving, I think, somewhere around 15
15?
in
Well,
DayZ. Yeah,
half of that?
I hopped into DayZ, as I do rather, like once a month, rather frequently. Hop into DayZ mod, play on DayZ Europa, great server if you're going to play anywhere in the European region. And I was running from Kamishovo to Drakon, near the docks, near Electro.
Yeah.
I was like, this is taking forever. What? This is so long.
Doesn't feel the same,
Doesn't
man.
feel
What's
the
going on?
Exactly.
That is crazy. So it's about half the speed.
Yeah.
You're saying.
It is about half the speed. A couple more questions here, because we only have about 4 more minutes with Tony here. ETA on dynamic infected spawning on experimental branch possible? It'll be done when it's done. I'd like to see it come moving forward. or 0.60 at the end of February, but you know there could be some issues popping up. The programmers are actively working on it. The programmers responsible for the economy are actually moved on to that task now that we've been able to diagnose the issue with the item spawning we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see it, but no promises. We will see. We'll keep talking about that and some of the engine updates in our bi-weekly status report. Guns are going to spawn in locations like the barracks and prisons and ATC again. Good. I mean, anything can change. But when it comes to spawning barracks, they're supposed to. Again, that ties into earlier in the stream when I was talking to Anthony about the issues with categorization on the loot and some items not spawning properly, not the same amount of items.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier in the stream.
I'm sure you're gonna bring back like items back and kind of like those camel buildings that just ran through
There's
too.
like a full audit going on in the economy to see, not see to, because we actually, thanks to the feedback tracker, we figured out what the issue was. There's a whole audit going on in the economy, and we will see the results of that hopefully very soon. Reuse arrows after killing an infected them. You know, I'd like to. I'd definitely like to. It's just like in some other games that I play in the survival genre. Rust, for example, does a great job of
Rust,
of adding that collision on that specific item after you shoot the arrow. You give it like 10 seconds, and then you can see the arrow and pull it.
Oh yeah.
And that's absolutely integral. You can do that in certain situations with arrows, but in other situations with arrows in DayZ right now, they just they impact the ground or they put beneath, they go through the object, and you can't get to it. Progress on the door synchronization bug, as far as I know, it's resolved, but that's a pretty nasty bug that keeps coming and going. So it's gonna be an issue for us while we're in alpha. Yes, Ben, we talked about a megaphone yesterday. So take a look at yesterday's broadcast if you'd like to hear about a megaphone. We got 2 minutes left.
2 minutes to find this guy.
All right, P-Bro. Good to see you, P-Bro. Been a while. I'm not really, I don't consider that really critical right now. We will at some point have a Brian Hicks character, I'm sure. Changing the fire mode of a weapon. Good question, Zenzone. I think that's incredibly important. I've actually had arguments with some of the people on the team about whether or not it was critical. Yes, that's going to be addressed. I give you my word, you'll be able to use selective fire mode on weapons that have them, like the MP5, the M4A1, the AKM, so on and so forth.
Talking about like a single, triple shot, and then fully automatic. Cause they have that in the mod, right? I think they did.
Yes, yeah,
modes,
Arma 2. It came from Arma 2. The forum and feedback tracker will come back online as soon as they're ready. Tolga, this gentleman, Rob DayZ, was asking if there would be snow and will the lift work. I'm assuming he means the Tolga ski resort. The Tolga ski resort is non-functional. It's rusted up. Can't use it. Sorry. As far as snow, time will tell. Time will tell. Hey, Jesse. And I think that's it for us, guys. Now, I will be up here for another 3 hours with Jam Jar, the Jam Jar. Tony's got to run and, I guess, work on his guns.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming they're going to give me maybe a 10 to 20, maybe 30-minute break between. But I'll be back up here shortly to talk about DayZ, talk about Survivor games, and talk about 30 minutes, outstanding. Upcoming.
And you and Jam will be up here for, what is it, 3 hours?
3 hours. Woo. Yep, 3 hours. Jam Jar.
Sometime.
Jam Jar. T-E-H. Jam Jar.
Jam Jar. Jam Jar.